Alright, I should be live. Okay, so information in between streams. I was wandering around trying to grind some levels. Apparently, I triggered some events and had a story fight. So I want to cover the outcome here. This was after the first Pokemon in the fight. This was after the second Pokemon. So I didn't lose anything in in that fight. Just wanted to clarify that as to how I wound up in the position I currently find myself in, where I can't go grind experience, and I guess I now need to just accept that I am not in a position that I thought I'd be in, and have to go forward from here. I also had to change up the party. I had to throw Dialga in because apparently that's needed for story reasons. Hey Naftali, welcome to the stream, and Dem, welcome to the stream. How are things going? Hopefully your weekend was fantastic. I just got done with some hectic stuff around the house. I did mention a little bit about it on Twitter. That's why the stream today is a little bit later than I wanted it to be, but, you know, things are what they are, and you do what you have to do. Hey dude, good timing. On my way home in a few minutes. Was at a surprise party for someone we're soon going to be living with. Well, that sounds like an awesome start to getting the household. Where am I trying to go with this? It's a fantastic first start into soon-to-be household circumstances. And I realized I think I totally peaked the mic there for a second because I got way too close and got way too high-pitched in my voice. Thank you, it was very good. Very good to hear indeed. Dem, good timing. I was just about to play Valorant. So you're gonna play some Valorant while playing my stream in the background, I'm assuming. Is Valorant that new, like team first-person shooter game? I recognize the name, and I think someone I know plays quite a bit of it. If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like a team combat, but there's a lot of people with superpowers. Oh wait, hold up. So I have Dialga in my... Okay, I'm gonna try to scam this really bad. Dialga's in my party so that I could travel. But if they allow me to get Dialga out of my party... Whoops, didn't mean to go to that one. Alright. These were recent catches that are not usable. They're just ones that I caught out doing what I was doing. Over here, can I get my boy Harambe back? Or Lady Harambe. Because the Pokemon world is cruel and we named Pokemon that are not befitting of their names, but you know, it is what it is. No, I'm not playing Val anymore. Not too new anymore, but yeah, new CS:GO style game. I think it's the one I'm thinking of, and yeah, I suppose I should have clarified new in terms of the games in that genre worth playing. It's the newest one that is befitting of the genre that is good enough to be worth playing, in my opinion. Judging by what little bit I've seen a friend of mine play. Okay, so what I'm trying to do right now is really kind of... Whoa, not that. Trying to scam the game in my favor by having Dialga in my party to go into the fight, but then remove Dialga for Nuzlocke purposes. Because if there's a way for me to do this fight without having to rely on Dialga, I'd prefer doing it that way because it sits more true to the concept of what a Nuzlocke should be. I'm normally, under most circumstances, not allowed to use legendary Pokemon, which is why I'm trying to see if I can go trigger the event without having it active in my party. I'm not sure if they'll let me do that, but I'm gonna try it at least. Welcome, Ash. Oh shoot, I forgot to change my name. It's all good. I'm fairly familiar with who you are. Whoa, what in the world is... What? What just... Who the what? Why? Hold up, what did that? I don't recognize the spooky green ghost energy. What is this? Is it even anything? Is this just some weird, like, weather phenomenon in the game? I don't know what I've never seen this. I'm like wandering around thinking that something is causing it, but I don't think so. I think this is maybe like we're in the mountains. Is this some like light refractory fun crazy from the time vortex problem area? There's some wild Pokemon that are mad at me, but I was too busy being enamored by the glowing green cloud of decaying energy. I don't know, it screams necromancer to me. I've had a pretty good week. Made a few friends who I'm going to be in the flat with at uni. Awesome. That's great to hear. Glad to hear that you're getting along with the people that you're going to be having to live with. Nothing worse than living for a substantial amount of time with people who hate you. I have been there and done that. Oh, well, Ash, I'm not going to read that out loud because that is personal information to you. However, I do want to say, I'm sorry to hear that, and I am glad that you have already found someone else to follow up with. And frankly, at your age, I'll be honest, at least from my experience at the age you are now hinting that you are, I will say that, again, personal experience, older women at that point in your life, absolutely much preferred. You know, once you get to a certain threshold, older women start to lose that luster, and you start aiming more your age range. But totally get it, and good on you. Oh, you broke up with with another one who was... Okay. That's sus, not gonna lie. Wouldn't get with a 16-year-old either. Stay single for a while. 3 years older than me. Yeah, what I would say is, when you are of a younger age range, I understand the appeal of the older women. And frankly, in the modern societal approach, it's the safer bet for the relationship there. Because obviously, having the ages be reversed, a lot of people would have a lot of problems with that. It's just the way society tends to look at things, for better or worse. Wait till you're 20 and then let the older... Oh, Dem coming in here with like the wisdom of the ancients here. Wait until you're 20 and then let the older women ruin your life. Dem just kicking down the walls of reality with facts. Oh shoot, was he saying I have to have Dialga in my party? Bring a Pokemon that is willing to aid you. You caught the perfect one at the... Oh, come on. Game, you're gonna force me to have a party layout? Alright, I kind of expected this. I am 13 too. Well, Naftali? I don't know where to go with that information. At my age, anything I say is incredibly sus, and no matter what it is. So, Yeah. I can't win today. All right, I gotta take Harambe out of the party. Bring Dialga. And you've got a Crush who is 16. Hey, look, no problem there. Again, the bigger goal between the situations there, the two parties at play is consensual agreement. I'll leave it at that. That tends to be the safer route to take. And Ash, I will say, I have been on the receiving end of the breakup and on the causing end of breakup. Oddly enough, I don't think I've ever... No, can't say that. I have had one breakup that I would describe as, you know, particularly rough. Not so much rough for me individually, but rough on the reasons that it happened. All of the other ones have been fairly tame on the scale of reasons and outcomes too. Naturally trying to break me, realizing that I was at the point of reading comments without actually looking at what's being said. She pops in here with the UWU thinking I was going to break. She was right, I almost did. I looked down and I literally made the O shape with my mouth, being like, oh, just read it. He's trying to break me. Alright. If I remember correctly, there's going to be a boss fight here that I'm going to have to do, right? It's not just a battle? Right. But that's not enough. There's a thing that plays out here, right? There was a... I'm trying to remember, I'm trying so hard! But I'm an old man with old man brain! Man, if only they gave it, like, actual arms, that would have been such a cool centaur design. But now it's just broken horse. It's trying to play off to the Arceus look, but it don't. Oh! Oh boy. Oh, okay. Oh! Okay, nope. Really gotta focus here. There's 3 of those. Here's a 4th one. Don't throw because it's going to start roaring, I think. Yep, there we go. 3. Was there a 4th one? I don't remember. No. Okay. But I can get a couple throws in. Still get a couple throws in. I don't want to throw here, though. Okay. Is this an interrupt thing? Oh, thank God. No, I'm not going to send a Pokemon into battle. That's not the way we do things here. Oh, boy! Is that it? Palkia, you got nothing. Ride high on the ego! All ego all the time. Oh boy! That's a bad spot. No way for me to get closer. That sucks. Okay, okay, now I can get closer. Oh boy, that dodge is so hard to time. Oh yeah, it's hard. Okay, okay, come on. Oh, no, 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 you can't take me out. That was Story. That was Story. I couldn't dodge. That's right, it was Story. God, I was panicking. Oh boy, that got rough at the end. How many times can I screw it up right at the end? All of the times. Oh, man. Yeah, actually a boy. Naphtali, I am terribly sorry. On the plus side, I feel like I can now approach this conversation a lot safer. Oh, I felt like I was having a government gun to my head. I'm sorry it took me so long to respond to that. I was very much focusing on not screwing that fight up because I couldn't justify in my own head killing off Dialga in that fight because they forced me to take it. And that means I'd have to kill off one of my other primary party Pokemon, and that would terrify me. Broke up with my ex. Kept talking after a few months. Said she didn't think we broke up. Was just having a rough time. Had a 2-hour call with her about it. Woke up in the morning and I was blocked. Dem, I have been in similar situation. Where you leave on good footing. I haven't been in the situation where they don't know that you broke up. That is, I don't know, probably a personality colliding there. But I have been in the position where you broke up, you left things on good circumstances. You take the high road that you need to in the terrible situation you currently would find yourself in, and you wake up the next day and realize that someone is like burning bridges on your life. I don't know if that's entirely interpretive of what you were trying to deliver on the topic, but it's in the ballpark. One of my exes blocked me because she got married and she messaged me 2 days straight beforehand and wouldn't reply when I replied. Oh, Ash, you're sick? Is it something serious? I hope not. Hopefully you're just sitting with a little bit of a common cold, playing some video games and eating some delicious tomato soup. Of which, by the way, I had recently made some homemade tomato soup. It was fantastic. Made it out of tomatoes pulled right from my garden. And of course, I bring some of the pre-soup mixture, all the spices and everything added. What I do is I heat it up and add a little bit of cream, and it makes the base that I have into a delicious tomato soup. I brought some of that to my mother, and you know what she did with it? She cracks the jar open, throws in some vodka, and just makes a Bloody Mary out of it. And that is the distinct difference between two approaches to life there. I had tomato juice that I made from tomatoes out of my garden. I jarred some tomatoes and I took the leftover juice and I made a soup base. And so I made soup. My mother, she makes a Bloody Mary. So that was kind of funny, I thought. I don't know. Hope you feel better, Ash. Yes, I completely agree. I do hope you start feeling better. Hopefully it's not anything serious. I can't be sick because I'm moving in 4 to 3 weeks and I need help. And you need to help your mom out with packing. Well, if you are of mind to share, yeah, let us know if this is. I really love hearing when people are. Okay, let me clarify. As someone who has moved out of a house in a panicked rush because of a delayed eviction notice and a lack of being able to prep as a result, I don't like necessarily hearing that people have to move because quite often moving can be troublesome and bothersome. What I love hearing is when people are moving for upgrades to life or in pursuit of betterments. Those movements in life tend to have a lot more upward swing, and I like hearing about the potential of brighter futures. Move into the country, yes! Oh, by the way, I have a song to play for the outcome there. So we have the end credits here, which we have sat through before. But I have a little quip of a song to play for the end bit of what we had just gone through, because Palkia is in fact a dragon. It's a little ninja sex party for you guys out there if you are unfamiliar. They recently did an upload of an animation to their song, Dragon Slayer, and I thought, God damn, I wish they had that at the end of the last stream when Jerry absolutely destroyed Dialga without ever needing to. It was a complete misunderstanding on my part that I was supposed to catch Dialga, and so Jerry comes in and just demolishes Dialga. Would have been a perfect time for me to have been reminded that that song exists and played it. So I had to save it for this moment here. Bloody Mary? Naftali, are you trying to summon ghosts in the chat? I know I referenced a Bloody Mary as a drink, but you know, is that an old story that people still tell, the Bloody Mary story? I'm over 30 years old. I'm at the age where I think back on like high school stories I told, and I'm just like, man, with the days of the internet now being like so prolific, there's got to be better stories out there than like the old Bloody Mary one. I have moved about 5-6 overnight due to being in care as a kid. It means I can pack everything up quickly. The worst situation we were in, and it was a terrible one in my opinion, was... Ooh, nice. Ugh! I am too entranced in the mindset that just read chat. Say it 3 times in a mirror and Mary will come for you. Absolutely. So that is one that's still prolific and floating around. Glad to hear. Oh wait, that was Dem. Dem. It means less if you say it. You're close enough. You're going to university. You're at least at the age range that would still be acknowledging of that story. I was hoping to hear what from the 13-year-olds, because those are the age ranges when I was first starting to hear of those ghost stories. Yeah, the worst move I've had. Can I skip this yet? No, it is still locked in. So I'm going to tell the story of the worst move that I've had to do. my family, the Rensack side of my family, that is my father's side. I have my father's last name. Very traditional, go figure. It's the way shit works back then. Less so in the modern era, but my entire family on my father's side is very prideful. We are very egotistical. And my father was in charge of the finances for our family during a time where... Ooh, I'm going to take a screenshot of that. I can't take a... Nintendo, what are you doing giving me this beautiful ending and I can't take a screenshot? Now I'm going to have to go take a screenshot for my stream later. Anyways. What? No way. Maybe, but no way. Not at all. Never. Entire male side of my family. Very prideful and egotistical. Go figure, you know, I've shared stories about my brother's ego. I've shared stories about my ego. Hell, I think I've shared my favorite story about my dad, which is not an egotistical story, it is a drunk story. And if I have not shared that one, guys, let me know, because it is my favorite story to share, and I can't believe I wouldn't have shared it already. Anyways, in reference to this move, my father was in charge of the finances during a time that my mother got very ill. She was very ill, and we had racked up some heavy financial costs in regards to her illness. At a time that my father was forcibly medically retired from his job due to injuries and so on. And so my mother got sick, couldn't bring in money. My father was trying to balance the finances, and ultimately he couldn't. And his pride got the better of him, and he refused to say anything until one day the crushing weight was too much. It came out. I'm not going to go into this. I'm going to go talk around to a few villagers and see if I can't trigger a few more events here. Maybe do some shopping, because I want to focus on this story. Obviously, the outcome is my father couldn't maintain the finances, and we had lost the house we were living in. And it broke him as a person, having to announce that and bring the situation to his family. Very sad. Anyways. And it took until we had 2 days. 2 days to pack up everything we wanted to take with us, to go through all of our stuff. None of us saw it coming. None of us had any awareness of any of this. And we called in all of the favors of our... that we had built up, you know, in our community, to help assist with packing up as much as we could. What was the real stinger in all of this was my father actually went to the bank with the requested sum of cash, or not to the bank, he went to the court hearing that the bank had wrapped him up in. I don't know the details. Again, at this time, I was not involved in house finances, and I was not informed on any of the paperwork dealings and the aspects of what had happened here. But he actually went to the court hearing with literally cash in hand that he was able to scrounge together and figure out and make work. My father was literally, you know, busting his own balls to try and get a favorable outcome for my family. Went to the court hearing with the cash in hand that they had requested and said, I was finally able to make this point happen. Can we negotiate the contract and we get to keep our house? And the bank actually said, no, at this point we don't even want your money, we want the property. So my father comes back and says, more or less, with 2 days, we're losing the house, there's nothing we can do. And so we call in all these favors, we get all the people in our community to help us move a house. We had a practical army tearing our house apart as far as our personal belongings. And man, I could tell a lot of good stories about the kinds of people that were there helping us out on that. But point is, in 2 days, we actually were able to get, God, I think we had 4 storage units that we were able to get filled with our home belongings that some people in the community were actually willing to put up for us. Again, you know, my family is well known in any community we belong in because we are very community driven, we are very community involved. As a result, when it ends up being that we have to call in favors and assistance, we're not ever short on people willing to, you know, turn around and help us back. Which actually references into what I was doing before the stream that I can get into later. But yeah, taking an entire home's belongings and cramming into such confined packing in such a short amount of time, and understanding that everything we couldn't get is lost to our family and was literally inherited by whoever bought the house afterwards. Really sucks. Because, you know, we had to make some tough calls. We had to leave some things behind we didn't want to leave behind. Much is the reality of the situation there. Shortest time I had to move was 45 minutes. That would be such a good screenshot. Extra tricky. Ew. Long pause. Woo. Didn't get me. Broke it up in between. But Dem's bringing out some big brain plays here. But yeah, it was, that was a rough move. And Dem, I don't know how you can move. Were you moving like a room, an apartment, or were you moving an entire house? Because 45 minutes is some absolute mad lad energy. But yeah, the biggest part of that was actually going through things and having to make decisions on what can fit, what can go, and what has to be left behind. It wasn't so much a matter of being able to grab everything, because we knew certain things were going to have to be left. And what absolutely sucked is a lot of the things we had to make decisions on leaving were like family heirloom items, items that have been in the family for a long time, items that were gifts from people that had a lot of sentimental value, but unfortunately did not have real-world value that we had to consider when making the hard decisions there. Because yeah, as far as moving like single room situations, I have been in a situation where I literally just grabbed a backpack and walked out of the house for, God, like 3 months. Mind you, it was with a plan, so it's not like I was moving without the realization of what was going on, but it was just like, you know, as far as what would you consider moving, it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes. I had a backpack and a couple of clothes, and I was like, alright, I'm out for a while. Just my room, anything I had in the room for the last 4 or 5 years. Didn't need to move the bed and cupboards. Yeah. That's still crazy impressive. 45 minutes to empty a whole room. I am not going to belittle the impressive feat that is. So I didn't see anybody referencing whether or not I had told the story of my father and the drunk escapade him and I had. So I'm going to operate on the assumption that I haven't told it, because it is legitimately one of my favorite stories to tell, and I will take any excuse. Pokemon that can use Rock Smash. Alright, so I'm going to have to get a Rock Smashing Pokemon. So I'm going to take the opportunity and tell the story again, because it is one of my favorites. I don't think I've heard it. Look, that's reason enough, Dem. I've already... The reason was already here. I wanted to tell it again. I had a fight with another young guy there, so I said I wasn't coming back and had till my dad got there. Yeah, well, I gotta say, it is a respectable character trait, in my opinion, to realize when you're in a position to get out of somewhere and just say, screw it, I'm gonna do it. Anyway, so this story with my father, my favorite one to tell. Hopefully we still have Naftali and Ash in the chat, because this is one of my favorite ones. So, my father has a history of being an alcoholic. Oh, holy cow, what was that? Had a history of being an alcoholic. Not too unfamiliar a story for many people, I'm well aware. My father, in the pursuit of doing right by his family, had overcome his alcoholism, and he has done so for years up until this time. And he has actually started drinking again, but not to an alcoholic state. You know how for most people you could say, oh, it's the end of the day on a Friday, I'm gonna crack open a beer, and you wouldn't call that person an alcoholic, and you wouldn't say one beer or even a whole 6-pack on the end of a work week. A lot of people wouldn't say that's the indicative sign of an alcoholic. This is just someone who is drinking to, you know, in the case of when I do it, it's to just, you know, ease my point to the point of, you know, falling asleep. But, yeah, you understand what I'm saying. An alcoholic drinks to the point of it being a problem in their life. Meanwhile, someone who drinks alcohol might not necessarily be an alcoholic. My father had reached the point where he was actually drinking as a non-alcoholic state. And it was not at the point of controlling his life. I want to make that very clear because that kind of sets up where we're going in the story here. My mother had to... I had just turned... Like, I was right at the 21 range. I had not been 21 for very long, which where I'm at, that's the legal drinking age. My mother had gone on a work vacation thing, whatever it was. Her employer sent her away to do some training somewhere, and she was going to be gone for like a week, right? And she actually left some money for my father and I to go to the bar and, you know, have a father-son bonding moment at the bar. Not realizing that my father, as stated earlier, has quite the ego on him and would not under any circumstances. So let me describe this. My father is like 100% Slavic. More so from like the Czechoslovakian region of the world. 100%. Both of his parents deeply enriched within that culture. So that's the genetic heritage on that side. My mother is an unknown, as she was adopted. However, she is a large, hardy individual with traits that imply, and this is why we assume so heavily, a large amount of Irish heritage somewhere in the lineage, so to speak. We had never done any DNA check or any DNA testing. It just is what it is. We assume large amounts of Irish in our bloodline. So realize that my father at the time was a man who weighed maybe 110 pounds. He was a very tiny individual as far as BMI goes. But he was also a man who was 120 pounds of absolute raw muscle. The amount of his body that was fat to any degree was probably in the fractional of a point, of a decimal point. The man had almost no body fat on him, which is kind of comical when you realize the rest of my family. He was a very cut, chiseled man, let's put it that way. He was, I don't know, like 5'7", maybe? I don't remember specifically. That is not directly important to the point. but he was a much smaller man than me. I was, at the time, I think I clocked in at like 5'11", 5'10". Unfortunately, in my years, I have done a little bit of shrinking. I'm 5'10 now. I'm a firm 5'10. Before, I think I was like 5'11. So I've lost an inch over the years. It happens. Anyways, I was 5'11 and very obese. I was morbidly obese. At the height of my obesity, I was actually 600 pounds. At this time, but I was often, throughout all of my life, actually surprisingly active. So even at 600 pounds, I was actually like out doing like mile-long jogs as just not a jog, but like hikes as a fairly regular consistency. So yeah, I was morbidly obese, but I was also active enough to maintain a certain lifestyle. Point is, when it came to drinking, I actually could not get drunk. I was at a party once, and someone had done the math of what had happened at the party, because, you know, I had just turned 21, I was at a party, and I was just drinking to drink. I had drank on a personal scale, on relatively cheap alcohol, more than $150, I think they had said at the time, in booze. So I spent that night drinking very heavily, and I'm not going to the story stuff because I don't know when they're going to make me fight something, and I'm not ready for a fight, so I totally accept that I am avoiding that very, very obviously. Anyways. And I had never been drunk before in my career up to this point. So that's worth referencing here. That my father was 110 pounds and alcohol would get to him fairly quickly. I was probably in the ballpark of near 500 pounds at this point. Fairly, you know, objectively for a 500-pound individual, active. And I handled my alcohol very well. So, my mother left us quite a bit of money to go to a bar. I think she left us, for both of us, like $120, so it was like $60 split both ways. And we had gone to a bar. My father, in his arrogance and pride, I don't want to go to that. That's going to be story stuff, and I'm not ready for that. My father, in his arrogance and pride, decided he had to drink round for round with me. So, we actually don't even pay attention to what the bill is racking up to. Now we're getting into the actual meat of the story. I have done all of the setup. I saw you on one of your old videos on your channel. You look like you've lost a fair bit of weight. My guy, I have lost a lot of weight right now. Like I said, at my heaviest, which was actually a couple of years ago, I was 600 pounds. Not that long ago. Right now, I am sub 300 and I am still on the decline. But I am doing some crazy work to make that happen. But there's a whole story about that I could get into later on down the line. But thank you very much. It's always nice to hear that people are recognizing it. Back to the story at hand. My father is drinking shot for shot with me. And when you start to realize what the tally is building up towards... Ooh, I want that. I don't know why I want that. It caught my eye and I want it. We got to the checkout of the day. And our bill for... Okay, no, I shouldn't reference the bill yet. Let's dial it back. We were drinking, he was drinking, you know, round for round, shot for shot with me. And I had realized at one point that my father is having trouble staying in his chair. So, in this moment, I talk to our waitress. I get up and I say, Dad, I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll be right back. I talk to my waitress and I say, do not serve my father any more drinks. He is clearly long gone. He is slurring his words. He is saying things that he would not say if he was not drunk. And he is having trouble even staying in his chair. Literally, his chair is about ready to knock him on his ass. My father's about ready to get in a fight with his chair, and guess what? He would lose. So I go to the bathroom, and I come back out of the restroom, and there is security. There's my father on the ground, 2 security guards standing over him, and like 3 other people in the area trying to help him out. In my mind, I thought my father, my featherweight of a father, decided he was gonna fight 2 jacked security guards and got laid out. That's what went through my head. Absolutely a thing he would have done. However, that is not the circumstances that have played out. No, he actually just fell out of his chair and couldn't stand up, and the security was trying to help him stand up. So that's how drunk he had gotten, right? Here I am, still walking and talking. Obviously, I had been drinking way more than I should. But I'm walking, I'm talking, I'm holding my own fairly well. And I rush over. Oh my god, what's happened? And they fill me in on what happened. My father just fell out of his chair. He can't get up. He is a broken man who has drank far beyond his capacity. And so I help my father up, and I say, all right, I got to pay the bill, and then I've got to get us out. What I did here, I do not condone, and I would not do again, with the wisdom that comes with age and the lack of ignorance and undue expectations of what I would be capable of. So we'll get to that in a minute. Point is, I do not condone my actions that come up in a few minutes here. I go to check out, and remember, at this point, my mother had left some $120, maybe it was $150 for my father and I to drink. We had more than doubled that at the bar. So we had drank more than twice what my mother left. And so I'm looking at this like, oh shit. Here I am, a college student, and I'm just like, I've got like jack all shit for cash. So I pay the overage, because what was I going to do? Not pay? Can't do that. So I take the cash that my mother had left for my father and I pay with that, and then I cover the rest with my card at the time. And so I go back over, my father, still on the ground. I have not helped him up yet. I just made sure that he was okay and not injured. I help him up. All right, Dad, we got to get going. We're wrapping up. We got to get back to the car. And so I help him to his feet. He's like, I can get myself. I can get. And he's like wobbling while I'm literally holding him. I am holding this man with his arm over my neck. You know, I'm helping him stand. He is literally trying to throw himself to the ground. I assume in his mind he thinks he's trying to stand up and walk it off. But no, he is more accurately trying to throw himself to the ground. And he's trying to fumble the words out of his mouth. And no, I can get there. And he stops part way. Alright, yeah, okay. So we walk out to the car. Again, I am literally damn near carrying my father to the vehicle. All right, Dad, you got to give me the keys. You're not driving anything here. No, I got it. And then he throws himself off of, again, I am like over shoulder, halfway carrying him. He throws himself off of my support, and he full body frog splashes the hood of the car. If you know what a frog splash is, if you've watched professional wrestling, you know what I'm talking. He frog splashes the hood of his car. And I was like, Dad, you're not driving. Okay. And so he lets me help him up. We get him in the passenger side of the car. And so I get him in the passenger side of the car, and I am driving us home. But again, I know I've been drinking, and I don't necessarily trust that I want to be on major busy roads. So I'm taking an entirely back road path. Again, this is where I said I would not condone my actions here in my modern mindset. I had been drinking. I got us home safe, and in spite of what happens next, I even had the arguably smarter response and reasonable approach Um, my father and I had a history of butting heads. It was not uncommon. So while I'm driving home, my dad also has a bit of a Joker streak in him. So not Joker like Batman, Joker like, you know, bit of a he thought himself as funnier than he was. So while I'm driving home, the man points out the front window of the car at nothing, points at nothing in the road, and screams, "Watch out for the aliens," and then he lunges for the steering wheel. He grabs the steering wheel and yanks it hard right. We go nowhere, because as soon as he lunged for the steering wheel, I slammed on the brakes. So he pulls it to the hard right, and we go nowhere, because we weren't moving anymore. But I literally one arm slam him into the passenger door, and I do the very angry finger point, practically looking like I'm damn near ready to pick his own nose. And I'm like, don't you ever grab the steering wheel while I am moving a vehicle. I will fuck you up. And my father, again, pride, arrogance, had realized how bad he messed up, how bad the situation he almost went was, and he actually does the silent nod, and like a school child, sits in the passenger side of the vehicle with his hands in his lap until we get home. At this point, we get home, and it was one of those divided homes, so you have like a main floor and then a kind of upper floor and a kind of lower floor. So we get to the house. I'm just going to stop here because I'm getting near the end of the story. We get to the house, and I help him inside. And at the time, he wanted to sleep downstairs on the sofa. I didn't mind, so I had him again, arm over my shoulder. I'm carrying him into the house, and we get to the stairwell, and I'm just like, all right, Dad, let me get in front of you so we can get you safely down these stairs, and you can rest on the sofa because that's clearly where you wanted to go. And again, he throws himself aggressively off my arm and runs like a child down the flight of stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, there is actually a doorway that leads to the laundry room. He slams his forehead into the doorway and literally collapses backwards onto the love seat and is out. He knocked his ass out. He fought the house and he lost. So he is out cold at the bottom of the stairs, and again, me trying to be the responsible younger person here, I go downstairs, I check his injury out. He's not bleeding, nothing too serious, but he did knock his ass out cold and he's got a bit of a lump. So I grab some peas, and I hold it on his forehead for a little bit. I don't know, after maybe 5-10 minutes, I take the peas off. I position him more comfortably on the love seat, and I throw a blanket on him, and I'm off to bed. But I think that is a hilarious father-son out drinking story, and it is one of my favorites to tell. We have me thinking my father gets his ass kicked by security guards, instead he gets his ass kicked by gravity. My father in his arrogance thinking he can end up driving, and it's just like, Dad, you're not doing anything, and constantly conceding to, slightly saner individual in the moment. And then I love the frog splash on the hood of the car. No joke, that is exactly what happened. A full body star pattern on the hood of a vehicle because, like a child, he doesn't want to be driven home. Dude, you're exposing yourself. FBI through your door any second. Look, I don't fear the story of driving home under those circumstances. Again, they'll never know if I could or could not have passed a breathalyzer test. No idea if I could or couldn't. I probably couldn't, but I can't verify that. They can't verify that. And frankly, it's one of those things where nobody was harmed, and even under the worst case point of that story, literally nothing happened except an old man ends up having an emotional moment like a toddler, realizing they're in trouble. Imagine not being 6 feet. I know it sucks. My brother is over 6 feet tall, and I am the short one. It is a reality, a situation. All right, I want to read through the comments here. Just my room. Anything I have the cupboard. Yep, read that one. I had a fight with the other young guy there, so said read that one. Okay, yep. That's jokes. I don't know if you're talking about that's jokes from my father thinking that there's going to be aliens that I've got to look out for, or jokes from just me thinking something was funnier than it might actually be. Oh. Yep, I knew there would be a story fight. Although, had I known what it would be, I would have much rather had Harambe up front. Harambe'd come in and slap cheeks. Alright, Ice Fang isn't too bad of a follow-up here. And Jerry's in a pretty good spot for the health. Power Gem. Okay, that hurts though. Oh, but we can double up here with the Ice Fang. But yeah, I have objectively better stories. But that is my personal favorite story because of the power dynamic shift and the understanding that my father, despite his size, was a very hard-headed individual who, if it wasn't for the fact that I think I legitimately terrified him and... Well, that's a face. If it wasn't for the fact that I legitimately terrified him and he was constantly having to be reminded of just how drunk he was... would never, ever, ever have responded that way under any other circumstances. Don't really have any stories. My dad made a chocolate bar out of wood for my birthday. A chocolate bar out of wood for my birthday and said the dog ate... Oh, okay, and the dog ate the real chocolate bar he bought me. I prefer it to maybe other things I've got for birthday and Christmas. Well, to be fair, that is an item with a story to it, and those are some of my favorite items that I have. I have some... Oh boy, get me out of here. Get me out of here. I have some items that I have stories to that are some of my favorite items just because of the story. One that comes to my mind immediately, and is something that you'll see in some of our other older videos, is I have a wall-hanging axe. It's just a decorative thing. It's not anything even remotely like real enough to look at and treat with any seriousness. However, it is a wall-hanging axe, and it is down here, and it is in some of the videos that we do where we aren't playing games or have some other footage at play. So go back in some of our videos, you'll probably have seen it. I think it's visible in what used to be on the channel for the first thing that would come up if you looked at the actual channel. It's not that anymore, so that video is no longer there. Or at least no longer in that position. But anyways, the story of that axe is I was finally at a position in my life where I had just broken free of being the hardcore wage slave where you're literally living paycheck to paycheck. And I finally had some expendable income. And I was getting into the ability to actually spend money on my hobbies. I was no longer simply relegated to getting like figures and models and books and things when birthdays or holidays would come around. I was finally making my own money and actually making money. And so I had walked into a local game store and I spent, God, probably $2,000 on some hobby stuff, giving myself a backlog to work through. And in this hobby shop, there is a battle axe hanging on the wall. And it had been there since the place darn near opened up. And the owner had a story of why that axe is there. And it's the kind of story that's so dumb, and it is exactly the kind of thing that would be like, oh my god, oh god, when you opened this store, you were a comic book geek. Respect to that, no problem, but you were that kind of comic book geek. His store was broken into and some product was stolen, and his answer, rather than get a better security system, was to buy an axe and put it in plain view for everyone to see. And it's like, man, that ain't gonna stop fucking anyone. Nobody's gonna be hindered by you having a wall hanger of an axe. But that's what had happened. When he had opened the store, he put all of his finances into that store and was actually sleeping in the back room. And there was a night when somebody had tried to break in again, failed, but he came to the front door to meet the police officers with the axe in his hand and his boxers on. So he's wearing nothing but his boxers and is wielding a terribly made wall hanger of an axe. And I loved the story. And I no joke looked him dead in the eye and I said, how much for the axe? It's not for sale. This is a thing for the store. And then he thought about it and he was just like, the axe is probably worth $20, $25 at most. It is not a quality item to any degree. The thing is damn near made out of plastic. It's that low end quality. And so he looks at me and goes, $50. I don't know if that was the actual number. Point is, it was vastly more than what the axe is clearly worth. And I literally just put an extra $50 on the table and was just like, I want it. And so without skipping a beat, he was just like, all right, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. But it was one of those things where it's like, I have an item with a story, and to me, the story was worth whatever price he was going to put on it, as long as it wasn't like $500 or something ridiculous, you know? So that's literally why I own the item, and why it's hanging on my wall. It's a terrible item. It's very cheap. It's very cheaply made, but I like the story, and that's why I have it here. A very similar story to the Steel Battalion controller for the original Xbox. It's a very pricey item, and a local game store had gotten Steel Battalion in with the controller. And the controller has some problems. One of the switches is missing its piece, so when you play Steel Battalion, you actually have to have a rod available to poke into the system and actually manually move the switch. It's not ideal. It really hurts the value of the item, but my birthday was coming up, and my brother, again, finally in the position to be making his own money and finally breaking free of the paycheck to paycheck cycle himself, wanted to, and I had actually recently helped him out financially with a few things. He wanted to say thank you, and so he wanted to get me something that he knows I eye every time we go into that store. I'm a huge mech fan, and so he sees this Steel Battalion game with this big fancy controller, and I'm ogling it every time we go in. He goes in there and he goes, okay, legitimately, how much for this thing? And the guy gives some obscene price. And my brother, being the far more, better at negotiating individual, discusses with the guy, and he says, look, it's not worth that. You know it's not worth that. I know it's not worth that. Clearly it has value to you as being something in the store to draw attention when people walk in. So I know the item's worth this. What if I pay you this plus a hefty additional amount? And the guy's like, yeah, okay, that sounds fair. So my brother buys the Steel Battalion controller from this place, and don't get me wrong, I love Steel Battalion. If you get the opportunity, we actually did a pre-recorded, I think, video of it. It's on our channel, but if you want to see somebody else play it, by all means, I highly recommend looking into it. Oh, whoops, I'm doing the same one over and over again. I highly recommend looking into it if you have any interest in like mech-style combat games. They're more like vertical tanks. They have like kind of mechanized upper portions, but they're clearly tanks on the lower portion. They're kind of cool, a really fun game. I highly recommend checking it out, like I said. But it is one of my favorite items in the room because I am a guy who does not get a lot of gifts. I am the kind of guy who does not get a lot of meaningful gifts. Getting things from people for me is such a big deal. I have like 4 or 5 friends who we do Dungeons and Dragons with on the regular. One year they got together and actually threw a birthday party for me. One of our game days fell on my birthday, and they went out and it was so. To a lot of people, this sounds like it was a very cheap thing. They went out, they got a birthday cake, and they were having a laugh about it. And so they were just like, you know what, Ian likes video game stuff, Ian likes Pokemon, let's get him a child's Pokemon cake. And it had a couple of little character toppers on it. It was just like a picture of Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. A picture of them slapped onto some plastic cutouts or whatever. And I was moved. I was emotionally moved by something that they were kind of thinking was a joke, but it meant a lot to me. I kept those character toppers for like 3 years, and one of my friends who was actually at the party found them in the room not too far. When they go to the bathroom, they passed where they were all these time, but they finally looked at it and said, "Ian, I didn't think you kept those. They were just cake toppers." And it was like, it actually meant a lot to me that you guys cared enough to even get me a cake. Oh, don't fight me, my guy. Okay, Mistress Kagita, something about Volo. Go to Prelude Beach, meet me there. Okay, I think he's going to have another fight for me, so I'm going to want to go get some experience. So I don't want to do the fight yet. In the meantime, I'm going to go get some experience fighting in the, in the Icelands. I think this is the bigger fight area with higher levels. Let me read through the chats here. Don't really have any stories. Did the axe work? I mean, technically speaking, it's an axe. You couldn't swing it like an axe. There's no blade to it. But it does have a sharp pointy bit at the end, so if you really wanted to, you absolutely could stab someone with it. I'll have to look for it. I'm looking for something to watch. Trying to get through The Boys at the moment. Yo, I hear The Boys is really good. I haven't started it yet, but it's on my watch list. I keep birthday cards for my birthday in May until Christmas, then swap them. Then I do the same thing. I keep that stuff on the shelves. I have a birthday card that my boss gave me. And she actually paid for a customized, like, artistic birthday card, and that meant a lot to me. It's still on my coffee table. But yeah, I don't get a lot of things like that, and so when I do, it's very meaningful to me. And so my brother has the story of the item itself, and this controller for Steel Battalion. We didn't play through the entire game. We just did a video on it. I have been meaning to repair that Switch for the longest time. I have a rough idea of how I could go about trying to do it. I just haven't. Anyways. The game is pretty cool. It's a very fun concept, and it's actually a kind of game where if you fail a mission and in the result of your failure the character dies, you actually have to start over from the very beginning. There is no save data. And it's very unique in that aspect. Back in the day, you'd actually have a lot of games like that, because we didn't have memory cards and we didn't have internal hard drives. You were, your fate was determined by how well you did at the game, and if you failed, brother, you're starting over from the beginning. And it was very reminiscent of that. But this is on the original Xbox. It's a really cool game. But anyways, yeah, it's got a lot of story and sentimental value to me. And so I have more expensive things in my collection. I have things that other people look at and say, holy cow, that's super impressive. One of the things I've got that a lot of people get impressed by is a complete Rob the Robot. Ooh, hold up, hold the phone. Yo, this is a big deal. I got a shiny. Finally, a shiny on stream for me to try and catch. So yeah, I've got arguably more important, more valuable, more, to many other people, what would be registered as more meaningful items. No, go that way. Please do the catch. Please be of the catch. Yes! That is an officially caught shiny on stream. It's about darn time I've gotten one of them on stream. And a Sneasel's a hell of a one to get. But yeah, despite having more valuable things, arguably more impressive items in my collection, the Steel Battalion game and controller, and I've got to throw both together because you can play Steel Battalion without that controller. It's not the same thing. It's a very different experience. The controller aspect to everything is the important part of that game, in my opinion. And is the part of the experience that costs a lot of money. But to me, it is probably, it is easily a top contender for my favorite piece in my collection. And I don't even fully know if my brother's aware of that fact. Alright. The Boys gets a little confusing at times if you don't fully pay attention, but some good bits in there. Is The Boys what I'm thinking of? That's kind of like a superhero-like movie? Or am I thinking of something different? I know there's a different show that I oftentimes think of when I think The Boys, but it's not the same thing, where it's like the superheroes are actually the bad guys. I know The Boys is on my list, but there was something else that is also on the list of things to watch. And I can't remember if it's a Netflix thing or if it's something else, but I do a lot of Googling for a lot of shows before I actually find what I'm intending to watch quite often, which is clearly the case. I actually have a couple of decent shinies in the list. Obviously, Skywalker's an important one, but Sneasel and Mischievous? I know I've said it before, I've thought about doing a stream where I will, what was I doing? I was gonna head back, that's right. I thought about doing a stream where I actually give away the shiny Pokemon to viewers. And I still think I would do that if people have an interest in acquiring the shinies from these streams. I wouldn't be against doing that. It's 3 season. The supers are good guys, but very corrupt. Okay, so that is the one I'm thinking of. Where you have like what's the big guy? Homelander or something like that? And the story is kind of like some other people are kind of going against these corrupt heroes in a sense. Alright, we are almost nearing 8 o'clock, so we are, I think, well beyond the hour that I usually aim for, but I really need to at least hit that hour and a half. I need to make sure I give some quality volume to what we're doing here. I don't remember this guy's party layout. And I don't know if I need to worry about levels or not. But I'm going to be committed and just go fight him. Clearly I need to do something more meaningful to wrap this stream off. By the way, I mentioned on Twitter why I wasn't able to stream Friday. I was having a battle with depression. It's a thing, and I don't want to come to stream if I can't bring the kind of energy that I'd want to promote, if that makes sense. So I spent some time focused on cleaning up my lifestyle, for where I was down in, and putting myself in a much safer mental state. That's not the right way to word that. Anyways, to do a stream. Oh, I don't want to, but yes, fine. Homelander, yeah, he is essentially the Superman. He's Superman from Wish. That's a good way to put it. I like that. But yeah. Ooh, Jerry's a good start. Just watch Jerry decimate his entire team. I'd expect it. Yeah, I really don't want to do that. So let's take the stab bonus from Aquatail. But yeah, take the agile style all the same. All good. I saw it the next day when you were going to message you today about the stream, but I saw your tweet from earlier today. Yes. Oh, did I miss? Is that what just happened? Did I just miss? Jerry, what you doing missing? There we go. And then we'll take an Aquatail. There we go. Yeah, earlier today, I got messaged by... No! Damn right! Sorry, that... Oh boy! That is some flashbacks to problem scenarios at the end of a stream before where mistakes were made and heavy losses were accrued. Anyways, I had got a message from we have a... No! Damn right! Jerry a tank. Jerry knows what he's about, what she's about. Jerry rocks big confidence energy. Really should heal though. We have a vet in the area that has become a bit of a friend of the family. Okay, and now we can heal again. She is a male to female transitioner. Suffers from PTSD and has a lot of issues with her financial situation. And so quite often when she's in the area, will get a hold of us to come and make use of some of our utilities, pick up sometimes she'll pick up food, things like that. We help her out because we do definitely think that it is important to... We also help out at the VFW from time to time, so we help with local vets. And hers is a pretty rough case. She had hit us up that she needed to come by and use a couple of our resources, pick up some water for her home, things like that. And so that is what I had to do before the stream. Originally, I planned to start streaming around 1 in the afternoon, but I knew that if I did that while I was streaming, she would try to come over and need some help with a few things, and I didn't want to stop a stream for that, and I didn't want her to accidentally be picked up on stream without her knowing that she might be walking into a live stream circumstance. And I don't want to give any details about who she is, because obviously, you know, as I tend to try to do, respect people's privacy when they are wanting to maintain anonymity. Please tell me my original joke comment about Jerry dropping his entire team is going to become true. Jerry avoided the attack. Jerry on a rampage. So yeah, that's why I ended up having to move the stream even later than I planned. And it was good that I did, because while she was here, she did need a lot of help with a couple of things. With the Aqua Tail. Yeah, we'll take the Agile. Try to double up shots next shot. Double up shots next round. Wow, my brain. Close combat. It's a heavy hitting move, but Jerry is tanky. Big queen energy. All good. A stream is a stream. Oh, I'm glad you view it that way. By the way, the next week's stream, as I understand it, is your last week before you have to head to uni. So I'm going to try to get everything set up. I'm going to try to do all of the in-between fights in preparation for the next stream, so that hopefully I can end on the fight with Giratina at the top of the mountain area. I want to make that the entire focus of the next stream, because that is the next biggest fight. This was a pretty big fight, but frankly, Jerry is just rocking too strong of heavy queen energy and just came in here and mutilated his entire team absolutely solo. But I want to wrap this game up while you're still around, because I think being able to finish a stream with a consistent viewer is rather important to me, and I don't want you to miss out on being involved in that. You move on the 23rd, so that should be the first of maybe... Oh, shoot! I thought last stream you said you had 2 Fridays left. Alright, let me see here. Hold on. Let me check some shit. If you move out on the 23rd of next month, then you've got plenty of time to be here for the ending of this stream. Assuming you mean the 23rd of... Assuming you actually mean the 23rd of the next month, period. Yeah, you should have 3 more streams, so you'll get to see the end of this one. Alright. Yeah, I just had to look that up. For some reason, I thought you had mentioned at some point that you only had 2 Fridays left. September 23rd, yeah. Thank you for that distinction. I think... Man, that's... Man, you might miss out on the potential Nuzlocke run, or even the main run of the new Pokemon series that's coming out soon. Hopefully you'll be able to catch those. That'd be amazing if you could, but I don't want to put pressure on you to catch streams of all things. You're going to be needing to focus on classes. I think coming up, I'm going to be doing some Splatoon streams. I'm a big fan of Splatoon. I've mentioned that before. I don't know what they're going to do for the content. I did not download the demo to check it out because I knew I'd be too busy to check it out. Another game. Oh, Dem, I think you had mentioned you are a fan of Overwatch, is it? It's a franchise you have played games of before? If I'm not mistaken on that, coming up is going to be a release of a Gundam-themed game. I think it's called Gundam Evolution. And it is going to be built around the the similar gameplay style to Overwatch. I've played the demo on PC. It's coming to PC and all major consoles. Which one had... I think it's over here that I'm looking for. I play a lot of Overwatch, several thousand hours. Holy damn. Yeah, they're making a new Gundam game that is going to be heavily thematically in line with Overwatch. And that's going to be a game I expect I'm going to spend a lot of time playing. I was a casual fan of Overwatch. I played quite a lot of it. But I wouldn't say I was, heavily involved in playing it. I never would have put myself at a higher tier player, so to speak. But I'm probably going to play a lot of this Gundam game as well, especially because my favorite mech of the entire franchise, the Sazabi, is one of the available units. Although in the demo, I will say I got a lot more time playing the Zaku. And again, big fan of the Zaku unit. It was very beginner friendly to the very concept of that style of game. Not so much the game in general, but playing a Zaku. Very, very brain dead character. So I'll probably be doing some streams on that so that people can have some idea of what that game's going to be like. And if that ends up happening, I might even be playing that game with a couple of viewers if they want to. Again, it would be a game that's supposed to be free to play and available on all platforms, so it would be very easy, I think, for a lot of people to be able to make playing that game an option. Alright, I've got to check something here. I have to get off of this Pokemon first. I'm not actually going to go for this fight. I want to see if it's available here to happen, or if there's some other stuff I need to do in preparation. Alright, Giratina is not in here yet, so I'm going to have to focus instead on the other fights, I think, and Giratina is going to be near the end. So how do I... Alright, Plate of the Lakes, Fire Spit Island. What? Okay, I question this. I don't remember this part of the game at all. And is that not one of the lakes? I don't remember. I don't think it is. I think they're talking about the Mesprit, Azelf, and Utsui Pokemon there. Yeah, judging from what I understand about the game, it is going to be completely free to play. And they're going to rely on, of course, the microtransactions and loot box approach for making money. That sucks in my opinion. I'm not a fan of that per se. I am of the mindset that personally I'd rather be reasonably able to unlock things and just pay, $60, $70 for a game. But that's not the stance of everybody, and that's not the stance that apparently companies want to take anymore. Just gonna keep working my way through here. Oh shoot! I remember what these are now. Okay. I know things. I remember this. This is where I fight Heatron. And they all have their own setup to the fight. So now that I remember that, I want to reorganize my thoughts on which one I want to fight. I don't want to fight Heatron. I remember that one being really hard because it's inverted controls. I don't remember this one at all. So let's do the Plate of the Lakes, because that's one that I'm more familiar with remembering what the ins and outs of that one's going to be. I remembered as soon as I got up there what the situation was going to play out as. I like buying the biggest deal at launch and then try and avoid anything else. Are you talking like with the free-to-play stuff? Oh boy! Hold up! We have an outbreak that I really want a shiny from. Highly unlikely because we just got a shiny of something else entirely, but... damn it, I'm gonna try. And then I'm gonna go do one of the lake fights before I call it a wrap, because I just want to show that I am capable of getting through them. I'm going to power through them. Because of what I remember the fights being, I'm going to reorganize the party. I might lose some Pokemon, but I'm going to be risking Pokemon that will be in the box. So if there are any losses... Alright, we don't have any shinies here right now. And wow, I almost dropped right on top of all of them. Okay, there we go. I want as many of these guys as I can manage to get. What kind of Jedi powers are you doing, just dodging stuff? While it's eating, throw some more food. Okay, no, I can't focus. Get, okay. I suspect you're the one that's gonna get to the... Are none of you interested in the food now? Really? Any game in general, free to play and paid. So you will buy the larger... Oh, okay. Well, that's strange. I'll give that one a shot. So you buy like games when they have bundles with like upcoming DLC plans and things like that. Pre-order bonuses. I'll be honest, I'm a sucker for a good set of pre-order bonuses. That is a weakness of mine. You know, as much as I want to stand by my principles and be like, yeah, I shouldn't just spend money on games to spend... I shouldn't spend money on pre-orders because you can never really trust what a pre-order is going to be. I also can't deny the fact that I am an absolute sucker for... okay, can't focus on the other guy. For some good, nice pre-order bonuses. Physical merch is my weakness. You guys see nothing. That one's so tiny, I want it. I want you. You're tiny and adorable. Feed all of you. You'll eat it, one of them. Go. Got him. I try to avoid pre-orders, only FIFA, but I'm not getting... Oh, you're not getting the recent FIFA? I actually used to play some sports games. I was never a big sports player. Quite often I just play games for them that my friends got because, you know, they wanted to have a round in a sports ball game. And without a doubt, they are not my forte. I think I caught all of them in the herd. No shinies, though. That sucks. But yeah, I'm a sucker for some good physical merch with a pre-order. It's how they get me. It's my weakness. The sports games I used to play, I would play because they had jokes within them that I was a big fan of. To date, my favorite sports game is NBA Jam. I think that's what it was. And I think it's the tournament edition I'm referencing. On the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And the reason I'm a fan of that game is, no joke, you can actually play. You can play ball with pros as Bill Clinton, and the idea of that hilarity of a joke to me is worth playing a sports ball game. But as I've said before, I will play games well outside of my preferred genre for some good jokes. I'm sorry, what? I don't... Food? Do you food? Is food not what you want? Do you want battle? Oh wait, it's psychic type. Psychic. Actually, Jerry's not a bad decision. I think I just wait for the opportunity to fight it. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, I guess that was all it is. My mistake, Ooksby. I thought there was more to you than that. Yeah. Agile crunch, just so it can't double shot me with the agile moves later. I got too annoyed, and playing FIFA this year, I played around 600 hours for $100, so good value. That's a good way to... Oh, hold on. That is a good way to justify your games. I absolutely support that mindset. You approach it to what is your investment per hour of enjoyment. That is an easy way to start justifying higher end expense stuff. Also, the quality of the joy you got versus the cost is another scale that you can use to help explain why you did a certain thing. For example, going on a vacation is very rarely just the cost of a plane ticket, which is already high. But then there's the things you do there, the cost of hotel living, the cost of, you know, getting food while you're there, all that stuff. So a vacation that you might only take for a weekend, 48 hours, might cost a lot of money, but based on where you go, it could absolutely end up being a justifiable cost. Okay, but to finish your statement, you were hating playing it near the end. Can I ask what made you hate playing it? I would assume this has to do with, like, the community involvement or just a lack of interest. Probably something to those effects. I try and get £1 for 1 hour, so around $1.20, I think. I said that right? That's a pound, not a euro. I'm from America, and so the brain kind of shuts off if it's not a US dollar. But still, that is absolutely a fair scale to consider your cost for enjoyment. And a great way to help personally monitor your expenses. It very much makes sure that the money you spend is money well spent. It's a heavy RNG game. You do the same thing in 10 games, half go your way, half no. And yes, it's a pound. My feeble, minuscule American self-entitled brain was able to deduce the currency we were talking about. God, I feel like when I talk about myself, it's like extremely bipolar. On the one hand, I'm the greatest being that's ever existed. On the other hand, I have a tiny, minuscule brain because my ego is too big. It is far bigger than any man's should ever be. And all the same, it is still not big enough. Alright, I have one catch over here I'm going to be able to allow myself. I'm going to be incredibly dumb and try to make it happen. And you'll see why I'm going to be incredibly dumb when you realize what Pokemon I'm going for. And the level that it's going to be at if I screw this up and have to fight it. Man, I'm thinking about the moves it could know. I'm a little worried. I'm going to be super dumb here. My ego is going to get the better of me. There it is. The surprising, or not surprising rather, king of all Pokemon Furbait. That said, I want. Don't turn and look at me. Turn the other way. Get behind the rock. Have it get distracted eating. And get far as hell away. Holy shit, first try! I was totally expecting to be here for 20 minutes trying to make that fight not have to happen. I don't know what level it is. For some reason in my brain I want to say it's level like 75. Which means it's an alpha that would out-level all of my Pokemon. And so being caught in that fight was legitimately terrifying as a possibility. I also don't mind buying skins if I play the game a lot. Does it help support the devs? Exactly. That is why I'm a big fan of if a game is going to have additional paid content for a free-to-play, I hate when a game pays for new in-game options, so to speak. Let's say you're playing a first-person shooter. Do not lock a gun with its own unique stats and gameplay mechanics behind a paywall. Make that thing free for anybody to get. You might pay to get it quickly or maybe have to grind for hours to earn it, but it needs to be available to people across the board. Meanwhile, anything cosmetic, absolutely. I hugely support as many cosmetic options as they want to throw in a game, because you're trying to push out a lot of options to maximize the number of people willing to buy what you're making as the additional content. So things like character skins, weapon skins. Okay, it is only level 70, and it's one of the few male Pokemon I have. Let's see, I think every Pokemon in the mainline party right now is female. I might have that wrong. Let me check. Oh, yep, I was wrong. Blue Ball is the only one getting blue balled. I keep forgetting that. But at level 70, it is a competent fighting type that might take Harambe's spot while I do the off-screen fights to fill out the rest of the content and to get to the point of fighting Giratina for the next stream. So with that said, I am going to wrap it up here. But Dem, gotta say it sounds like you know what you're doing with your money as far as spending it on things you enjoy. Gotta respect that. But thank you so much for coming in, and to everybody who stopped in earlier, thank you very much. Uh, Richard, Naftali, Ash, thank you so much. Hope to see you next time, and hope you guys enjoy your week.